Hey, welcome back to another episode of Simple Truth Television. Today is February 22nd, 2023. About a week ago, I said I was going to make this video showing the parallels between the Subway Series of 2000 between the Yankees and the Mets and the attacks of September 11th. Now, I was doing some additional research and I noticed some other things too. You guys remember how the Knicks lost to the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Finals? But remember that year, the Spurs had Tim Duncan and David Robinson, and they was referred to as the Twin Towers. So they was doing this stuff all throughout different sports as well. And then I also noticed that in football, on the Monday Night Football game between the Jets and Patriots, this game was played on November 15th, 1999. This was a regular season game on Monday Night Football. And from this game to the attacks of September 11th, this game was played exactly 666 days before the attacks of September 11th. And just think about the two teams that played each other, right? The Jets, Planes, the Patriots. Think about what happened after the attacks of September 11th. We got the Patriot Act. And notice there was a combined score of 41 points in this game. The word terror, Al-Qaeda, USA is all 41. One of the reasons that the Yankees beat the Mets 4-1. Notice in the 2001 Super Bowl, the Ravens beat the Giants. This was the same year as the attacks. This game, the Super Bowl was on January 28th, 2001. Notice the score was 34-7, which was 41 points. But just think about this number, right? 347. That is the New York City area code. They was letting us know. This is what I've been trying to tell you guys. You know, it's more than just a game. You know, these games mean a lot more than two teams just competing against each other. They're giving us clues, and those clues are usually indication of tragedy, upcoming tragedy. Again, Jets pay the Patriots 666 days before 9/11/01. 41 points scored in that game, Jets and Patriots. And then the Yankees played the Mets in the World Series prior to the attacks of September 11th. The two New York teams. The only time the two New York teams ever faced each other in the World Series happens to be the World Series prior to 9/11. What a coincidence. And then the Giants lose 34-7, 41 points to the Ravens. And notice the Spurs, again, remember they had Tim Duncan and David Robinson, the Twin Towers, and the Twin Towers beat the Knicks 4-1. Like terror, Al-Qaeda, USA, all 41. I noticed some other things as well. Notice the gematria of Subway Series and Twin Towers. They both have that 166 and 49. You know what else has that 166? Secret Society. And when you write out September 11, not September 11th, but September 11th, it also has gematria of 166. But you guys notice how Subway Series is also 77? Think about that. Right? Remember, Flight 77 hit the 77-foot Pentagon 77 minutes after takeoff on the 77th meridian. And notice Derek Jeter, who was the MVP of the 2000 World Series, his birthday is the 26th of June, right? 26/6. And the towers came down 77 days after his birthday. And his surname equals 77. And again, Subway Series. When you write out World Trade Center, September 11th, the proper way, it equals 77 as well. And this was, again, a big number in that Twin Towers ritual. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, or maybe you guys think about it. I mean, I'm not saying that this is true, but when I look at the number 77, it looks like the towers to me. Like, let me zoom in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Look, doesn't it look like the towers? Like 50% of the tower I don't know. Maybe I'm just bugging. Maybe I'm just seeing things. But when I see that number, it looks like an abstract version of the Twin Towers. But yeah, Derek Jeter was the MVP of the 2000 World Series, and the Towers came down 77 days after his birthday. And like I mentioned in my other video, from the conclusion of the 2000 World Series to the attacks of September 11th, the attacks happened 320 days later. And remember, Roman Catholic Church has a gematria of 320. But all these sports, paying tribute to September 11th, and that's the sick part about all this stuff. It's these games. A lot of people going to these games, supporting these leagues, and these leagues are helping fund the next terrorist attack, the next chaos, the next tragedy in this country. I'm pretty sure, those people that shot up that school at Michigan State, they probably got some funding from the rigged Super Bowl that just concluded. Super Bowl 57, like Michigan State is 57. Some other details about this World Series. This was called the Subway Series, and that's because you can take either the 4 train to Yankee Stadium or the 7 train to at that time it was called Shea Stadium. Right, so they had the 4 train versus the 7 train, like 47. And we know that number is infamous for a lot of other reasons. But notice the mockery, though. The MLB season that year, I got to verify this. I think I made a mistake here. But if according to this, hopefully this is right, the MLB season started on March 29th in the year 2000. And Game 5 of the World Series was played on October 26th of that year, which means that the MLB season ended 211 days after it started. And 211 is the 47th prime number. And they just had the 4 train versus the 7 train. And notice Derek Jeter equals 47. He was the MVP of that World Series. But let me just make sure, because I want to make sure that I'm not giving you guys wrong information. Start date. Yeah, it was March 29th. Okay, so that's correct. Yeah, so the MLB season concluded 211 days after the start of the season. 211 to 47th prime between the World Series that hosted the 4 train versus the 7 train. And we know government is 47 and authority is 47. 47 is a number associated with the government. This tweet, I found this interesting. This was actually from the 2001 World Series between the Yankees and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Coach George Bush made his appearance at the World Series, shaking Derek Jeter's hand. Derek Jeter, the MVP of the 2000 World Series. These people are pathetic, man. These people are evil, man. But notice what Derek Jeter told George Bush. He wrote, "Don't bounce it, they'll boo you." That was Derek Jeter's words to President Bush, who threw the first pitch of the World Series in Game 3. And notice the gematria of "Don't bounce it, they'll boo you." It's 110. Like how the Twin Towers, they each had 110 floors. And of course, President equals 110. Everything these people say, do, it's all numerical ritual. I'm convinced. It's clear as day. But yeah, I mean, out of all this stuff that I found, the more like mind blowing stuff, it's this game right here, the Monday Night Football game. 666 days before 9/11, Jets and Patriots play each other. 41 points. 41. I mean, the 9/11 was on the day of 41 numerology. I don't know if I mentioned that, but again, 41 was a huge number, right? Terror, Al Qaeda, USA, all 41. 9/11, 2001. That was the day of 41 numerology. That's why all these series ended 4-1. The Super Bowl had 41 points. The Yankees won 4-1. The Spurs, the Twin Towers, won 4-1 against the Knicks. 4-1. And the game 1. The Knicks scored 77 points against the Twin Towers. Oh, my goodness. Like, you cannot make this stuff up, man. Oh, and in the last game, they lost with 77 points, right? They start the series with 77 points. They end the series with 77 points against the Twin Towers. They do this all throughout sports, you guys. This stuff is sick and demonic. What else? Let's see. I think I covered everything. Don't want to make this video too long. Just please share the video, like the video, please, if you liked it, if you found this information valuable. Oh yeah, the Mets that year, they finished the season with 68 losses, which I don't think is an accident, because think about it, in the year 68, that's when all the stuff went into motion. Like George Bush graduated from Yale University that year. The Twin Towers construction began, and 911 was made the national emergency dialing code that year. That was also the year that John Rockefeller was the mayor of New York City, the guy who signed the plan into motion. And of course, the towers came down on 68 days after George Bush's birthday as well. And we know CIA and terror is all 68. Oh, last thing I want to talk about is I mean, look at this. So in the year 2001, right, the last game played by the Yankees and the Mets, they both played their last game on September 9th, and then again, 9/11 happened. They suspended all the sports games, and then they resumed it on the 18th, a week later. But isn't it interesting that they resumed the season on 9/18? Because let me see. It was, that season began on 4/2/2001. I think it was 162 days into the season. Okay, so look at that. So look, the 2001 MLB season start date. It began 2000 and it was April 1st. I thought it was April 2nd. It was April 2nd, I think, for the Yankees. That's when they played their first game. Okay, that's what it was. So the season started on April 2nd for the Yankees, but the official MLB season started on April 1st, according to Wikipedia. But I do find it interesting that they postponed, that 9/11 happened 162 days after the Yankees played their first game on April 2nd against the Royals. Because we know Major League Baseball is 162 and baseball is 162. I mean, that doesn't mean that could be coincidental, but the season technically started on April 1st. So I will disregard this because I don't think it's relevant, because the season began on April 1st, according to Wikipedia. But the Yankees, they played their first game on April 2nd. So disregard this. It's not that important. But 162. What I was about to say is that's a big number of Major League Baseball, because think about how they play 162 games in a regular season. Baseball is 162. Major League Baseball is also 162. So the Yankees, it was 162 days into their season when 9/11 took place. But according to this, the season began on April 1st. But notice here, number of games, 162 games in a baseball season. And yep. So I think that's all right now. Again, all of these championship games are all predictive programming for something else to come. So this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Don't just think that the Jets won the Super Bowl, the Jets won Monday Night Football game, blah blah blah. Oh, and think about it. 1968, the Jets won their only Super Bowl. Jets, planes, Giants, 2 buildings. Twin Towers were notorious for being big, like the rapper who died on the 68th day of the year. Yeah, but there's so much with 9/11, man. I mean, I'm really surprised that I don't know if the truth community existed before 9/11, But I'm surprised, people didn't catch on to all these clues, because there's a lot of smart people in the world. And they did give us a lot of clues. I mean, that's one thing I respect these people. They don't hide it, but they do. And every time I'm talking about a number, it's like the same amount of viewers on my channel. It's crazy. What I respect about these people is that they are proving that they are really smarter than a lot of us. Because they're able to get away with this shit on year after year. Put this shit right in people's face, man. The Subway series right before 9/11. And I think a lot of people are catching on, and just they look at it like it's not my business. But that's the problem. It is your business. It is your business. Because I know a lot of people that don't know about numerology or gematria or astrology that are awake to certain things. So I just think some people just they feel like they can't do anything about it to change it anyway. So, but I'll finish it there. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And again, remember, these sports games, they are not just sports games. They are riddles, and usually riddles for a tragedy. So, but take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. Peace. Thank you for watching.